Hello everyone. So today we are going to be talking about the Smith & Wesson Equalizer, the most recent that I'm aware of entry from Smith. As you can see, it's not particularly large, it's not particularly small. It's a Goldilocks gun, at least I think so. Anyway, how did I get this? I went in to buy some ammunition one day at one of the local gun stores. I walked past it, and it was sitting there. It called my name. I didn't have any choice. Plus, I'd promised myself that if I ever saw one of these, I'd get it. So I did. Of course, while I was waiting for the paperwork for this, I also found 2 used guns that I picked up, but that's another story. We'll get back to that another day. But for now, we're going to talk about the Equalizer. So, spoiler alert, I'm really impressed with this pistol. I really like it a lot. So this is the gun using the 3 magazines it comes with. As you can see, there are currently rounds in them. That's because I was weighing things, and it's hard to weigh a loaded gun unless it's, loaded. So 20 ounces, empty. Put a mag in. The 10 round takes it to 26 and a half. I'll leave the 13 out. The 15 round takes it to 29 and a half ish. And add 1 in the chamber and it'll go up slightly, but not a lot. But as you can see, it's not terribly heavy, but it's not the lightest thing I own either. It does come with 1 10 round magazine, 1 13 round magazine, and 1 15 round magazine. And obviously they each have a difference in how they sit into the gun. The 10 round, that's a pretty good grip. I mean, my pinky is kind of hanging off the end of it, but that's fine. It's no big deal. So Smith & Wesson calls this a micro compact. Okay, sure. We'll go with that since these terms don't have any actual definition. It is a hammer fired. I know it looks like it should be striker, but it's not. There's a hammer inside there. I'll show you in a few minutes. It has a grip safety. The length of it is right at 7 inches. And 7. The height is sort of like the weight. It depends. Well, let's look at let me zero this. There we go. 0. At both the slide and the grip, it's right at 1 inch. Like I said, the height depends. With flush mag, it is 4.5, and with the biggest mag, it is 5.3, 5.4, give or take. So like I said, it varies. The barrel is about 3.5 inches, which I will show you here in a minute. The trigger pull, I measured at 4 pounds 9 ounces with my trigger pull gauge, average 5 rounds. I think I mentioned in my unboxing that this trigger is really nice. When I took it out and shot it, it was even more nice. As you can see, there's not a lot of travel involved. And the reset comes back to right where it would be anyway. It's really nice. I said 4 pound 9 ounces. It doesn't have this grip safety. I've heard people complain about grip safety, say that they mess with the trigger. Not that I can tell. This particular version does not have the thumb safety, although they do make a version. It's called the TS for thumb safety. And I believe it's ambidextrous. This is swappable. You can switch to this side. This obviously is not. The slide release is the slide release. And so let's take a look at the guts here for a minute. So rotate this back. Now, one thing that you have to be careful of with this gun, don't push this in when you're trying to take it apart or put it back together for that matter. It raises. When you push that in, it raises this up. That will mess with your ability to disassemble it. And see, here's that hammer I mentioned. That's a hammer. And it's very simple, very straightforward. Like what you would expect from a modern handgun that has been out less than a year. Or just a few weeks, actually. And see, I've got just over 3.5 inches on the barrel. Smith says something slightly different. I don't know where they come up with that. Okay, so aside from the grip safety, there is one other thing I want to mention when putting this back together. Notice that this has different sides. There's a flat side and a round side. For no discernible reason that I can determine, this groove has the round side down, has the round side. So, you have to make sure that you put the round side in there. If you put the flat side down in there, it won't go. Don't ask me how I know that. And once you get it in there correctly, then just come back, flip this back up, and you are good to go. Just no grip, don't push the grip safety, put that in correctly, and you're all set. So, there are people who will extol the virtues of striker-fired guns and disparage hammer-fired guns all day long. I don't understand that. They each work. As long as I pull the trigger and it goes bang, I don't really care why. Something spring-loaded came forward and hit something else, and bullet goes out the barrel. That's all I care about. Hammer striker doesn't matter to me. Speaking of reliability, though, you probably want to know about that. I have over 500 rounds through this. In fact, if it looked dirty when I took it apart, that's because it is. When I first got it, I cleaned it, and I put over 500 rounds through it and haven't touched it since. That's just part of my review process, is 500 rounds without cleaning it. I had a single failure to feed in the second set of magazines. I don't remember which one specifically it was. And it was just a very simple failure to feed. Tap rack took care of the problem entirely. It was really great. It's been flawless ever since then. I have no qualms on that score. Accuracy. If you've watched any of my other stuff, you'll know that the gun is going to be better than I am. I'm going to put a couple pictures here. First, I'm going to put a short video right now of me shooting this thing for the very first time, probably at 5 yards, and then I'll put up a thing of a picture of the target when I was done. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow. So today, you get to see the first shots of my Smith & Wesson Equalizer. I have to excuse the camera. First, it's flipped because I'm in selfie mode because I don't have anybody else here to tell me if it's working right. So, how we're doing it. Starting with the 10 round magazine and the 13 and the 15 are in here. Like I said, these are going to be the very first shots I take with it. So, let's see how they go. As I trip over a rock. And now the 13 round magazine. And last but not least, the 15. Yep, still stiff. Okay, 15 rounds, no malfunctions. I am shooting 124 grain Blazer brass. Like I said, that was at 5 yards. It is okay. Not great, not bad. And then now, I'm going to put up another picture. This is me at 10 yards. This was Friday, Saturday, a few days ago. Anyway, better. Okay, so like I said, I've gotten better with it. I think I can actually get pretty good with this one, at least for me. Although I have been going to the range more often lately, so who knows, maybe that'll even make it even better. Anyway, as you can see, these are pretty basic 3-dot sights here. Put that underneath so you can see them. It also has the optic cut. I haven't even taken those screws out yet, so I have no idea what kind of plate's under there. I'll deal with that later. Smith calls this a micro compact, and like I said, that's a little, I don't know, it's a little weird to me. So, this is not a comparison test, but I thought a couple things might be useful here. So this is my SIG P365. That's going to be our stand-in for micro compact today. It is smaller, a lot smaller. If I put the magazine in this one, which would be flush-ish, it would be 10 rounds, which is the same capacity, and it would be shorter. Obviously, the barrel on this is only 3.1 inches, and this is 3.5. As far as width, they're pretty much the same. So we already measured that at 1 inch, and I do believe the SIG is also an inch. Yep. So, to me, this is a micro compact, and in fact, it's just a little small for my taste. But moving right along, the other thing is a Glock 19. This is obviously considered a compact, not a micro. But here's a fun fact. I'm going to put this magazine in the Glock. That is the 17-round magazine that comes with the Glock. And I put the 15-round magazine in this. And boy, are these pretty much the same size. Not precisely. In fact, the shield's even still a little longer. However, the shield is thinner. This is a 1-inch grip, and I believe the Glock is 1.2. Let's find out. Yeah, 1.1955, 1.2. So, okay. So this would have 17 rounds instead of 15, and they are roughly the same size. However, I just like the way this feels in my hand, and this has a much better trigger than the Glock. Kill surprise, right? Okay, so there's no real standard for this micro compact versus subcompact versus blah blah blah. So, you know, we just got to use our heads. That's why I wanted to show you what this looked like in comparison to a couple others that are big in the carry market. There is one thing I wanted to mention about these magazines. Like I said, there's the 10, the 13, the 15. I'm going to put a picture in here about now. And you're going to look at the top of the follower. It says Shield 9. So, everywhere that I have seen these magazines for sale, I have seen them listed as Shield Plus, Equalizer, or Equalizer, Shield Plus. So apparently they will also work on Shield Plus, which I don't have, and maybe someday. I was seriously planning on getting one, then I got this. No, I'm not so sure. I do like having 3 magazines. I have no idea where this came from in my head. I like 3 mags for each of my carry guns, since I hardly ever carry more than 2. I don't know why. Call it a quirk and let's move on. My normal carry with this would probably be this one, and then this and a spare carrier. Which, what, 11, 27 rounds, 26 rounds? That should be sufficient. So what don't I like about it? Well, there are actually 3 things. The first is the name, the Equalizer. I think it's dumb. I don't like giving guns cutesy little names, and to me this is a cutesy little name. Now this is all very subjective. I think the name Shield is fine. I just don't like this one. Probably because it references in my brain a pretty mediocre television show that's on CBS right now. Now, if it was pointing to the 80s show with Edward Woodward, that would be great, because that was a great show. And the Denzel movies were pretty great too. But I just don't like it. The second thing it's not really a downside so much as you just got to watch out for it. And I've already mentioned it. The grip safety. You have to be careful taking the bloody thing apart because of the grip safety. I mean, it's really, it's possible to do all this stuff without hitting it, but it's a little tricky. Just got to watch out for it. No big deal. And last but not least, holster selection. It's a little sparse. I'm surprised. I could have sworn when the 365 and the Hellcat and the Ruger Max 9 came out that they had more holsters available early on. This one just doesn't. I would have expected Smith to give these guys a heads up and maybe send them one of these so that they can create the forms for it. I don't know. Maybe my memory is faulty and the others didn't have that much when they first came out, and maybe I just don't really understand how all this works. But it's a little sparse right now, which kind of sucks because I want to carry this. So I'll track something down, and when I do, I will let you know what, and we'll go from there. Okay, finally, at the end, like I said, I'm really impressed with this gun. I really like it. I can hit with it. I've got enough grip that I can get a full grip without things dangling off. The recoil is very manageable. Like I said, it has the Picatinny rail that I haven't actually used. Maybe someday. Probably not, though. And the optic, that someday I will probably mess with. I have exactly 1 optic on 1 pistol right now, and it's my Springfield Hellcat, and I just haven't really messed with it. I've zeroed it, but other than that, I haven't really messed with it too much. But back to this. Like I said, very impressed with this gun. I like it. As soon as I find a decent holster, I'm going to start carrying it regularly and see how that works out for me. But anyway, you guys have a good one now. Thanks a lot.